big up, big up, big up, and welcome to a Liverpool 12 man show. It is the viral match reaction. Excuse me. And we are one step closer, two steps away from lifting the title. It wasn't exactly how we expected to achieve that movement forward, but it is all that a move forward all the same. So we now have a situation where we are going to be looking at these next couple of games very, very, very closely as to what the opponents that we have in our view, because we will be heading on the road for our next match, and we will also be taking on a team that, again, we should get a result against in Leicester. No, all due respect to Ant, and yeah, and also Tottenham today. Just I don't know what's up with Tottenham, but it's the captain's day. It's the captain's day. Completely a from heel to hero, I guess. Could also even throw in there maybe even Robbo as a heel today too. It's not been Robbo's year this year. It's been a struggle for him, and we are. I feel for you, Robbo. I feel for you. But Ryan, how you doing today? After that win,
Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah. It took a long time, but eventually a football match broke out.
yeah,
It was starting
yeah,
to get incredible. I'm surprised you managed to wake up again. If it had gone like that for 90 minutes, you'd probably be asleep now.
Leave it again.
That
Yeah,
was whoa, that was not fun to watch.
yeah,
Real
yeah.
boring. And then all of a sudden, I mean, Fulkrug with the chat. I mean, it
With
just
a
in the space
chance,
of 10
with a
minutes
chance.
just broke
Yeah,
out. A game started to happen. So
yeah.
yeah, uh, yeah, like you said, we get onto it, but yeah, the Virgil and Robbo stuff was actually kind of funny at the end.
At
But
the end,
that's
yeah, because
yeah,
they went from like, oof, that's a little bit. That's gonna be tense in the locker room too. Oh, all right. Maybe they'll go out for beers later. Like, um,
send a link to the lads. Sorry,
no worries.
I thought I'd
Uh,
sent it over.
but yeah, it was a case where, man, you're right. Uh, this morning was not an easy morning. I did wake up for the game though. I did wake up for the game. I woke up at like 6:03 or something like that, or 6 in the morning, and that's what time the game started for me. And the alarms just did not do the trick. By the way, had I had an alarm set for an alarm, and it still didn't do the trick. I just needed to sleep apparently, and but I had to watch the game certainly. And in this game, I mean, geez, it started off. It started as soon as we went into halftime 1-0. I said to myself, "This is not going. This is going to be one of those games where we win by a goal." And I'm not saying I'm Nostradamus, but I thought maybe we're going to win like 1-0, maybe, or something like that. To be honest with you, because the way it was kind of laying out for us, and then also you throw on top of that the very fortunate situation that it wouldn't have mattered if we had Kelleher in goal. I would expect the same, but the very fortunate brilliance of Ali in goal today really made a difference. Um, Shout out to Lucho for the goal, by the way, to all his haters, and Besitos, right? And yeah, Mo Salah one step closer to that record. Got his assist. It's an interesting game. He won. It was like we focused so much going through Mo Salah in that first half, and in the second half, it wasn't until like maybe halfway through the second half. I think he got one of his like first touches. It seemed like it was like a weird game, but got more gray hair after that game. Big up Barry, by the way. Big up Barry. Big up Callum. Big up Callum. The way that West Ham set up, it was never going to be easy, says Callum. I get you. Where was Dom? It could be a good question. So it could be a very good question as to where he was. Big up JK. Big up Nalante, by the way. How you guys doing?
I'm all good, bro. All good.
What's up?
Good. Bless up. Yeah, it's how you feeling after that? That captain's performance, I guess, like, or that captain's save.
Nalante?
I'll let you. Yeah, you've got VVD on your avatar. I was speaking to you, Captain.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for the vice captain to take over.
Yeah, right.
Now, for me, bro, that game was annoying. Simple. It was a game of two halves. Normally, first half we were poor, second half we were good. It was the other way around today. That second half, I don't understand the philosophy of that second half. Like, what was going on there? Annoying. Big time annoying. For me, the Virgil getting that winner had to be him and Robertson. God knows what Robertson was doing. Like,
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. You'll have. I'd love to hear everyone's ideas as to what exactly. It was just to me, it was a miscommunication. It was probably like more so Robbo, wanting to make sure that he was covered, and VVD not expecting for him to be there, and no communication between the two. That's my take. But
Monday,
what was your take?
I think it's more VVD. I think Robertson's angle for me was saying that again they all know, but for me saying that I'm there to clear, but VVD just got anxious and took a deflect, and West Ham got a well-deserved equaliser. But look, he atoned for it for the winner, so. He done a captain. I wouldn't say captain performance. Definitely not a captain performance, but captain save. And we win the game, and two more wins to put this to bed.
Dragged over the line, high low. We did drag this line. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, sorry. No, all you have to do, you don't just watch the replay. You know who fucked up.
Oh,
it was Virgil knows. Virgil was walking away, just shaking his head at himself.
Yeah, he had his head down.
Yeah, he was like, "No, man," and Robbo was like screaming in the background. But then
I thought it was
Robbo was like, "Dude,"
he screamed like he did score the goal technically.
But he was like, honestly, at Virgil. But then it was fucking hilarious. I don't know if you saw, after Virgil scored, he was jogging back, and the camera was on Robbo, and Robbo was kind of looking at him, smiling, and you could just see him going, Virg. And Virgil was just blanking him. He must have been blank. He was just okay. Because he's like, he heard Robbo screaming at him, but it's just like, not now, Robbo, not now. Robbo was just like, hey, he was ready to kind of get, just say, look, forget about it. He scored it. But you could just see the way he was shouting. It's like, Virg. No, Virg just like, not now, man. I messed up. I fixed it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. Not now.
You know what's really, really wild too is that like that second half, we've been quote unquote second half FC for the majority of the year. We can say that, a good bit of the year. And it took that goal to almost like to say, wake the F up, like wake up. That second half, it seemed like they were just I don't know, they're just like sleepwalking through most of it. They allowed for West Ham to get like, situated in the game. Lucas Paqueta was definitely a little bit of a thorn in the side. I'm glad that the referee stopped, falling for his antics, by the way. But it was like
a penalty for you?
For
Ward-Prowse handball. That was for me a penalty. Yeah. His
I
arm
thought
was like over his head.
yeah, his arm was like, yeah, lazily
on, man.
away from his body.
Yeah.
Wasn't in the silhouette of his body.
Yeah.
I get that. Like, you could make an argument that it wasn't like he was trying to play the ball, quote unquote, but yeah, it's just that's one of the unfortunate things. I thought, truthfully, there's going to be probably a lot more of, I'm sure, from our rivals, especially, that are going to be speaking on was Macca's challenge a foul, and then they're going to also ask the question of, was VVD's separation that he got a foul as well. For all the build-up play that goes on in crosses and corners and the likes, it's not for me, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot worse, and I've seen a lot worse get not called on for us in our favor ever, really. So to see VVD finally just say, you know what, if there's going to be a lot of holding and pushing and grabbing, do a little bit back. That's all. And I don't think it was enough of a push to kind of like warrant them ruling out the goal. Do you guys think elsewise? And tell me in the chat too if you guys think elsewise. Think I'm wrong, and think that we got lucky maybe. Nolante, you want to try that one?
VVD's goal, no, I don't see anything wrong with it. To be fair, it goes on in the boxes 101 times every game, every match. If it's a blatant one, then yeah, you could see. But no, it's just one of those things, and yeah, I think, and also Max thing. Again, it is what it is, man. I'm not really too fussed, but I will say I'll probably be the only one that says it. The James Ward-Prowse one is. Yeah, I think they're right in commentary. In European laws, they would give it, but again, it's very hard. Sometimes it's harsh because, again, he's not attracting to the ball. He's not trying to look at it. He's looking away, and sometimes this happens. So, not for me. Not for me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd be the same. I don't like it takes kind of video or whatever, and maybe sometimes, but I don't like I don't like giving a handball for an unintentional handball, regardless where it is and where your hand is and all that. Like, he was running, he was kind of sliding, and you could see, yeah, his arms came out, but he wasn't trying to handball it. You could tell that it was accidental, but Carragher was right. He said, because like the rules are slightly different. He said in Europe that's a penalty. So in Europe, it doesn't matter whether you're looking upside down. It doesn't matter. Accidental doesn't matter. You're going to get that. So, but yeah, I think it would have been a little bit harsh. The other one, yeah. When you look at what goes on, and Virgil is very good at that as well. Like, it was at the time the goal we got scored against us a while ago. We pushed your man in the back. Was it a few games back? But anyway, Virgil is very good at like the little shoves and the little pushes. The ball has to get to him, and we've been asking for that for a while now. Just either from Ibu or VVD, just one of our defenders go up and just win a ball. And Mac's deliveries were good. So yeah, just he did little nudge, little push, but in terms of what goes on in the boxes, it's very, very minimal. Like, they tried that shit about 5 years ago, maybe even longer. They said, look, any grabbing in the box, any holding, we're going to give a penalty. And they gave like 2 in the first day, and then they just stopped because players just kept doing it.
Right.
Yeah, players kept doing it because it's like, well, we're going to give 14 penalties every weekend. Do you want us to keep up with this rule and give 14 penalties every weekend? Or they're like, yeah, okay, look, because you just can't stop 20 people grabbing each other and pushing each other. So they literally just go, look, unless it's egregious shit, they just let it all go. Little pushes, little shoves, because other players are blocking people off. Like, yeah, like you said, what goes on at corners these days is just, it makes a circus out of the rules. Like what Mac was doing in the previous game, like not even looking at the ball, basically just trying to go chest to chest, face to face with Tarkowski. That's not making no attempt to play the ball. I don't want to see our players doing that bullshit. But yeah, that's what it's like now. It's just pure gamesmanship and little nudges, little pushes. We got one today. That's what you got to do in the box. To call it. So yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that goal because it was a tiny bit of contact. But
well, what about the rewind a little bit even further? I'll let all of you guys comment on that part too. There was at least the commentator on my side of the pond was talking about how I thought the referee was allowing for a lot of that stuff to eventually, like at first he was calling a little bit of it, but then he was like, you know what, this is going way too far. You know, like I said, I think Paqueta was, you know, every little touch he was going down as if he got knocked over by a freight train. And there was the challenge that Maka got on him to win the ball back. And they were saying that could have been a foul, or some were saying at least that could have been a foul. Do you think that was?
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up the Wan-Bissaka on Salah one.
Oh no!
Possible penalty for us.
Well, the reason why I brought up the Maka one was because that led to the cross that led to that goal.
Yeah, no, I thought so.
And you know how they usually do on a goal, they do sometimes rewind it back to see if there's any fouls or anything that was like, you know, watchable. Big up Trudon, by the way. What was that?
Yeah, all the way back sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes too far back. Hyler was saying, just remember that. Whoops, that was the one I was going to read. That was the one where he said, we dragged this over the line. But as I've said for some time, this squad is pretty much spent for the season. Slot is trying every which way to inject some energy into our team with variations. Yeah, we can talk about that too. With the lineup, I wasn't able to be a part of the roll call. I was there in spirit, in my dreams, I guess, in spirit. But I'm glad to see that Bredgen held it down, and that's what good Reds are for, you know. And the lineup didn't include Robbo from the start. That was different. Didn't include Dom from the very start. That was a difference. But everyone else was pretty much the same, or pretty much who you expected to see. Bradley included, considering he's our sole fit right back. Disappointed in the lineup. Would you have done different? Would you have done the lineup different? Or did you get, how about this even better? Did you get the result from the starting lineup that you wanted to see? I'll ask that of JK.
I was happy with the changes.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, you know how we messed up that game is when we changed Tsimikas for Robertson. I think Tsimikas was sound. As soon as Robertson came in, it just went a bit pear-shaped. So for me, the lineup was sound. I think Jota, that was the one again, Jota again. He was trying first half, don't get me wrong, but there was nothing coming from him. Diaz again first half, great. Him and Salah, both wings, attack. And I always say this, when you use your wingers in games, what happens is the opposition sort of weaken because they get scared that something's going to happen. That's why we kept on giving ball to Salah first half and we're doing the business. Second half, God knows what they were thinking. Keep giving him the ball. Like, what is the problem here? You know, I don't understand that, man. Like, if something's working in the first half, keep it flowing second half. It's just like common sense, you know what I mean? So what was like coming on was a waste of time. Robertson coming on for me, waste of time. Conor Bradley probably came off. Conor Bradley probably came off because he's just coming back from injury. They want to give him a full 90 straight away, you know. Hence why Ponza came on. But I just feel like there's no grasp of the game in certain times of the match, you know, like who isn't getting the ball? Like, why no one just getting the ball and controlling the midfield? I just don't understand that. When you look at the ballers we got there, I just feel like, one of those, like McAllister tries, man, the guy don't stop. But for sometimes I just want a guy to just like, have you noticed how we let silly passes go through? Like real dodgy through the legs, 3 guys around the ball, and their guy ends up winning it and going through, like weird stuff like that. I don't understand how that keeps happening. Looking leaky on midfield, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand that. I understand that. And there was some. I can understand what you mean. Like we will talk about the substitutions for sure. We'll get into a little bit of that as well. I wanted to definitely just focus on just the lineup in the beginning, like as in, because from the very start, I didn't mind seeing Simicast. I agree with the substitution. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I didn't agree with the substitution of Robbo for Simicast. But Jones for Dom. Okay, I get it. We get it. We all get it. I don't think that Jones was poor today. I don't know, again, what the obsession is with Hatta getting the starts. I love Hatta as a player. I definitely think he is a dynamic player when given the opportunity, when in form, and when definitely with the hop and the step. But I would have preferred to have seen this. I think if we had a little bit more pace up front, which is the reason why we got the goal, I think, out of Diaz by having the ability to get behind the line. It would have been a little bit of a different situation, Hatta had 0 shots today.
Yeah. But
How often do you say your starting striker had 0 shots in a game not against like Manchester City, prime Manchester City, or like a Real Madrid or something like that, against a West Ham team that you're going to get shots.
Yeah. And you're playing for Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, bro?
And this is someone who loves Hatta. I do love Hatta. I don't even want to think that I'm saying that Hatta needs to like pack his bags or something, or that he's like, he's washed and done or something. But I'm just saying that it's just interesting. Go ahead, JK, though.
Like for me, Hatta, bro. First half he was linking up cool. He was playing okay. Second half, non-existent. No shots for a striker who plays for Liverpool in the number 9 position. That's pretty poor.
Excuse me. Right.
Like I've always been a fan of every player who plays for us. You know what I mean? I don't pick on no player and say, I hate him, blah blah blah. Nah, I've always sort of supported Jota, and I think Jota's in the games he's played in over the last 2 months, for example, he's been fit.
Mm-hmm.
He's played in big games, bro. Big games. He scored 1 goal.
Big, yeah.
Big games. And for me, he's sort of playing for his Liverpool career in these big games. If he shone against PSG with 2, then against Newcastle in the final, he banged in another one. Against Fulham, he banged in 2. Stuff like that. Then you'd be like, you know what? You're staying next season. Yeah, he's my guy. But he's not happening for him like that.
He's had a brace before. Like he's was it the last time he played against them or the time before that? He had 2 goals against West Ham. He can score. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah, he can score.
But you can't score if you don't. You can't score if you don't shoot.
You don't shoot. You know what I mean? Hence why for me and Brian,
it's not rocket science,
saying,
right?
Chiesa. We were saying Chiesa number 9 today. Why? Because he shoots, bro.
Right.
So exactly what we guys were saying. Chiesa didn't get a look in, bro.
Yep. Not a look.
Not even a minute. Endo came on. Sabotslai the donkey. Like getting more game time than that guy. I'm better than Sabotslai. I'm saying it again. I'm better than him. I don't give a fuck. Like,
JK Poyet.
I'm better than him.
No,
you're not.
Give me his engine. Give me the main thing he's got on me is engine. He can run
Hey.
that long.
Engine, 100 meter distance.
You know what I mean, bro? Like, come on, man. You're playing for Liverpool now. Get your head into the game. You're on the bench. Use your brain thinking, you know what? I can see holes here. I can see this. I can see that. Study the game. You're on the bench, bro. So as soon as you come on, you know what's going on. But wake up, man. Terrible by Szoboszlai. Really disappointed in him.
Well, wait.
Really
Before we
disappointed.
before we get into the subs, before we go into the subs, though, I'll let you go back into your criticism.
My
Your
truth moment
criticism of our number 8. But I just wanted to just real quickly. Were you happy with the lineup? I didn't get the chance to be a part of the roll call, so I didn't hear if you said thumbs up, thumbs down before, and then being what you said before, were you still like, yeah, we got what I got, we got a decent performance. They didn't score, but we got a good performance out of those starters, or were you just disappointed that they really didn't produce the way you wanted to see them produce? Ask that to Nolante this time.
You know what my answer is going to be.
I know what the answer would be.
Yeah,
that was
Brian JK. Yeah.
As soon as I like threw that softball out, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. All right. I'll go to Brian.
Speechless. Brian. Speechless.
Yeah, he's speechless. How about for you, Brian?
I said yes and no because I wanted Dom to be rested, dropped, whatever you want to call it, and we got that.
Yeah.
I didn't want Jota to start, but didn't get that. Didn't really expect Robbo not to start, but hey ho, it's in a lot of games to me. Robbo doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. Brady was back, Ali was back. The midfield, Chu was okay, solid. Diaz, but like I said on the post, I was like, yeah, he's made changes, but I don't see none of those changes made me think, oh, we're going to be much better this week.
Right.
It was just Simi, Jones. Okay, cool. But that ain't, so, oh, hey, here we go. We've got, whatever we might be doing. I don't know. But there were just some changes, but it didn't mean, oh, yeah, these are some hot changes. This is really, this is good, But what do we have in the side that could do that as well is the other question. But yeah, I just thought it was either going to be Elliott or Jones. And I said, even before that, I said last night, I don't want Dom to start. But neither Elliott nor Jones, Elliott's never started in the league this year. Jones has been Jones. So neither of them, I said, wow, these guys are definitely going to be better. Couldn't be much worse on current form. I just really wanted Chiesa to start through the middle because, again, what everyone's gone over about, like the shots and, how frequently he shoots and tries and creates. I was a little bit worried that because of our long break, and 7 days is a long break, that we would be a bit slow out of the blocks. And one player in our team who is the opposite of slow out of the blocks is Chiesa. And I could see him coming on just being real quick. Like Jota got no shots, but like I said, the whole team only had 9. I mean,
you think Chiesa's slow out of the blocks? You said? You think?
No, I said literally the opposite.
Oh, opposite. Okay, let's make sure I heard you. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, I was saying we'd be slow out of the blocks. I feared, and I was like, the one guy that wouldn't be, get him on the pitch, and he'd just start shooting and running at people. He would give you that kind of energy from the start. He never even got on the pitch. He never even got 20. I was thinking 45. Give him a half. Blah blah blah. Didn't even get on the pitch. There's some messages being sent. Probably, I don't know. Kwanzaa gets a game, Endo gets a game, Robbo gets a game. 3 very defensive substitutions. Sabo gets minutes, but anyway, and then Gakpo comes on. So Case is left sitting there again, and Darwin isn't even on the bench. Darwin's sitting there in the well, he's on the bench, but he's sitting there in the bit with Trent Alexander-Arnold, just watching the game.
No idea.
Yeah, whatever that is, whatever that's all.
He didn't get a call up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. It wasn't even in the squad, so he's sitting there beside Trent. You could see they showed him at one point. But yeah, just
how interesting. Oh, not the
2 goalkeepers on the bench, bro.
Yeah,
I was going to ask this question. I was going to ask this question. And again, if you want to land your point, go ahead. But we went with two goalkeepers on the bench.
Yeah, weird.
2 goalkeepers on the bench today.
I reckon Darwin must have done something bad then behind the scenes.
I think
Probably
Darwin's. I
slot
think
Baldy or
maybe
something.
Darwin's checked out. Maybe he knows that it's only 2-3 games that we need to win. Liverpool, one way or another, should be able to get over the line. And this is obviously coming from one of Darwin's biggest supporters. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm hoping it's not the case, by the way. But it's interesting that, like you said, it's very interesting to see. Unless Darwin, I would love to hear the press conference. Let me see if I can bring it up too, by the way. I'm going to see if the press conference should be out by now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because someone mentioned before the game that he had a newborn and stuff. He was saying hopefully everything is okay at home. But I think the fact that he was at the ground and sitting there and it means we can rule out any personal issues that he could,
Right.
that he had to be away for or whatever. So that's out. So now on you're waiting to hear, oh well, he had a knock. That would be the softball answer. Yeah, he had a knock. He woke up with a funny tummy, bit of illness, but he was okay to be at the game. He wanted to support the lads, That'd be the classic one. But yeah, it is. It's a bit of a statement. No,
he called Arne Slot Baldy or something. He's like, you're not playing. Okay. I don't know. Something weird about that, man. 2 goalkeepers. That's what made me think, weird. Why are you putting 2 goalkeepers on the bench and then okay?
I was going to say,
is it disciplinary?
He's about to go live right now. Beanie Man Sports. I don't know if you've heard of that. She's got 1.16 million subscribers. Do you think am I allowed to bring this in? No.
Yeah, because he's just taking someone else's feed. It's not his feed.
It's not his feed.
It's not his feed. Liverpool's. Isn't
he's got a lot. I mean, he's got a lot of subscribers. I admit that. I was just wondering if anyone knew. I don't want to get, obviously, I don't want to.
No, if you mute, if he's talking over it, you see that might be different.
He's not.
If he's just.
He's not. I don't think it's just going to be the press conference.
Oh, you can take that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Everyone's going to be showing the press conference.
Yeah.
It's nice. Probably
I'll be sure to Beanie Man Sports. I'll be sure to put your the link in here for you.
I'm sure it'll probably be question number 1.
What's that?
What happened to Darwin?
I know. I would like to hear that. That's why I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. But no, to answer quickly your question, I was happy-ish with the lineup. In terms of it made changes, but I didn't think it was going to make us any better, and I thought it did not make us any better. I were really poor for most of that game. I could easily have been 2-2. Could easily have been a 2-2.
Yeah. I did not want to. All due respect, I didn't want to see Desmond today.
No, Desmond can stay in the barbershop for next 3 months. But yeah.
Exactly. Let Desmond go visit other teams around.
Wayne Rooney there on the right.
Yeah, he was at the bridge today. Let him stay at Chelsea for a little bit.
Yeah.
Bernie's saying they must be definitely going Trent and Nunez. I don't know if they're talking or speaking on their travel plans or not, but let's just hear.
Sounds like they were. Yeah, go ahead, fire it up.
Which? They do need to give microphones to the.
I'll put the word "quite" out of this sentence. It was a big relief because Ali made sure that they didn't score earlier. They had multiple chances to score the 1-1 in the second half. Unfortunately, they scored one, which they didn't score, but we scored. And to be completely honest, it felt to me like, with 5, I was expecting 2 minutes with maybe 3 or 4 minutes of added time, but all of a sudden 7 minutes were added on. So with no time wasting at all from both teams, it was a bit of a surprise for me. But okay, it helped because we scored a goal in extra time. Was it extra time or was it? in regular time.
Just before.
No, just before. So, yeah, of course, that was a relief because to me it felt after West Ham scored and the way the second half went, it was maybe more that we could expect them scoring. But our fans and our players fought differently because from the moment they scored the 1-1, we started playing again, we started pressing again. The fans were really loud at that moment of time, and already the chance from Lucio, some good counter-press moments which led to the corner kick, and then we saved a big set piece for a very important moment because in the modern game of football, set pieces, what is that important? And that's what we saw today again as well.
James?
Virgil comes up with the winning goal, just underlines his importance. He just said it on TV that regarding his contracts, let's see what next week brings. Is there anything you want to say about that?
I think he means, let's see what next week means if we play Leicester City, because that is at this moment of time by far the most important thing. This 2 more wins, and I think the first 32 games have shown us how difficult it is, not only for us, but for every team. I repeat, every team in the Premier League to win a game of football. So the competition has never been as strong as it is this season. And that's what makes it so hard to win a game of football. So yeah, everybody can say, yeah, you have to win too. Yeah, we still have to win too. So we should be completely focused on that. And if in the meantime, a contract extension or whatever happens, but my full focus is on Leicester, and I'm sure Virgil's as well.
They need to get microphones for the journalists. That's what I wanted to say earlier, by the way. Still need to do that.
Yeah, very important. Would not be completely fair to only talk about them, but I think we're, as a manager, looking for is always the ones that have achieved already a lot of things in their career, that they step up in the most important moments of the season. And I think it is always in the end of the season, moments getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And today, all 3 of them showed up, not only these 3, but you were asking me about these 3. In big moments, Alisson probably had his best game of the season today. Off saved, but he scored the header that got us 3 points. And Mo was, again, very important in the first goal because and he was really lively also the first half. So I saw the Mo Salah again from most parts of the season.
Chris?
First thing that happened, that doesn't happen, but is that they also have players, and that's what makes the Premier League so strong this season. I think there are 16 or 17 in the league, but I can name 1 or 2 players that could have easily played with us today as well, in terms of quality. So that is where the Premier League is about, and they use them more and more in the second half. These 2 quality players, and they have more, but I think Paqueta and Kudus were outstanding today, especially second half. And maybe because we were 1-0 up and we conceded 1 or 2 chances, it led to a situation where we were a bit too afraid or didn't press hard enough anymore. It's them taking more and more risk, bringing a lot of players into the midfield, and they still had their threat in these runs with Bissaka, Bowen, and all the others. So yeah, it was a bit of both, but definitely credits to West Ham as well. But you don't only see this here. I see this every game that I watch. I don't watch every game of the Premier League, but the ones I do. I thought yesterday after 20 minutes, Crystal Palace is in a good place. And they could have scored 3-2, which was fractionally offside, and they lost 5-2. So these are the margins there are in the Premier League, which makes it such a hard league to play in, but also why it's so popular.
Costi?
Here we go.
No, he went in yesterday because he didn't feel well, so he went in. So that's why he couldn't be in the team today.
Was that on Nunez?
Yeah, that was Nunes.
When you came in, was that the main aim of the owners? Is that you said get us into the Champions League just how important it is? Do you feel like this is
Jeez. I do think that they desperately need to get Mike.
I think it's the main aim for the club because they've experienced 2 years ago how much of an impact it is if you are not a part of the Premier League, Champions League. Sorry. So yes, indeed, the main aim and what they told me is, look at the players, give your opinion about it, so we can go into this project in the second and the first year, but do qualify for the Champions League. And we all know that even the team that is at 16 at the moment has very good players, but the top 8 is all of them have incredible players. So it's getting more difficult and more difficult to qualify for the Champions League. So, but to be honest, if you would ask this question to me in the beginning of the season, I would say, "Oh, nice." But yesterday it wasn't. I opened a bottle of wine because we qualified for the Champions League. We have now, of course, only qualifying for the Champions League.
James.
The reaction from the fans after West Ham was that one of the reasons we went to the Cup afterwards? That's probably as animated as we've seen after a game this season.
Yeah, and I think because we won a game of football where maybe for the first time this season that you could debate if we deserved to win this game, and then to win it at such a big moment where the fans helped us, I think that deserves, or how do you say it? That's why I think I tried to show a bit more how much I appreciate them through the whole season, but definitely today.
Peter, last one.
Just wondered, good chance that you might win it here. How good would it be to win your first title actually at Anfield, bearing in mind the atmosphere that you tasted today?
If I have to win it 15 kilometers from here, or I don't care where to win it, we know we still have to win 2 more games, which is us trying to come back to that every single time. Has been in 32 occasions difficult enough for us. So first win 2, and that's the only thing we should focus on. And this week we should try to improve more and more to give ourselves a better chance of winning a game of football next week, where we face Leicester and everybody can talk. But what I saw is that for the first time in 11 games, they've scored 2 goals and got a result. So they probably have a bit more confidence going into that game now. And we've shown in the last 32 games that there's only been 2 or 3 wins that were quite comfortable, but the rest of them were very, very, very hard work. And that's our only focus. That's my only focus, winning a game of football.
Thank you, everyone.
So that was our coach basically giving a his version of the game via the press conference. That was pretty boring to listen to, in my opinion. No real answers. Didn't go in depth about what was the other than it was Nunez was not feeling well. He didn't really touch on. We couldn't hear the questions, so it's difficult to get the exact context of what he's answering.
One of them, what he was talking about Champions League was the reporter asked him, when you came in, was that the requirement, just qualifying for the Champions League? Because you're saying now that you've officially qualified for it, basically. And that was like a real boring question. It's like, so was that he was like, well, yeah, but I mean, after a game, you're asking if that was a minimum requirement when you came in. Yeah, they weren't great questions either. It was just, yeah, and the Nunez one, it was like, yeah, he was a bit sick yesterday, so no follow-up, nothing.
Yeah. I'd say he was defensive too, Bernie. I'd say he was definitely defensive. I say that he was I wouldn't say complacent. What's the better word for it? I'd say that he was basically looking at it as, you know what? We got this win, and I just want to get to the locker room. Probably, maybe he wants to go crack open a bottle of wine, kind of like breathe, take an exhale, and be appreciative that we have a team that we go on the road for that isn't exactly. I think that has written off the year already, but again, it's a matter of he has to figure out how to make this team recognize that we've still got work to do. And I think personally, this is only my perspective. I'd love to hear the panel chat. You can tell us the same. Nothing to do with January transfers or summer transfers. It has nothing to do with any of these different little things. I'm talking about particularly with the team. What fire? What, like, we just had the announcement of Mohamed Salah is going to be staying. Great. We had the imminent announcement that Virgil van Dijk is going to be doing the same. So some of the contracts are done. But I think that one thing, this is my personal opinion. I really believe that the way that this coach has treated some players with their playing time has affected the energy that he's expecting to get out of them or expecting the team to respond with. That's just my opinion. Because currently, it's just not there. It's not the level that we needed. It's not at that fever pitch that we needed to be at. Whether it's the intensity of knowing, hey, let's go out there and totally shut this team down, or whatever it is, or let's go out there and make them have to chase us kind of mindset. It's just not there. And I personally, again, I just think of it as a lot of these players, in my opinion, have been somewhat mistreated. I know other people might have different opinions. They might not even put it in that conception of the words. But it's just, to me, it's like Elliott should have played today, in my opinion. Chiesa should have been in this game. You're looking for that intensity. It's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. We've seen it time and time again. By it being asked and called on from this coach when the lineup that he puts out doesn't fire, and you reward them by having them sit the bench again. I just don't agree. But I'm not the coach, so therefore, and I am appreciative that we are en route to winning the big 2-0. But I just don't know. I think that when it comes to sometimes man management, I think that if you allow for the team to feel like they are a part of the team more so than not, and maybe get different results. But maybe I'm out of place or out of line in saying what I'm saying. So I'll allow for the panel to give their opinions. Brian, let's go clockwise. Brian, do you want to speak on it? And then Jake and Nolante.
Yeah, look, it's hard to look. I don't know. It's a ruthless, tough business, is football, and like he said, his job is to win football matches. That's all it should be, really. Contracts, commercial stuff, all that's been taken away from managers. Now it's just, here's a team, go win football matches. So that's all they're going to concentrate on. So yeah, I think it's gotten to the stage now where, like I said it after that Plymouth game, I said, this is the last time you're going to see a lot of these players. And it wasn't just like the young guys, obviously. That was it. It was the last time you're going to see, especially the way they lost. Chiesa was one of them. I was like, yeah, that's it. You can tell. You could just tell with this manager. It's like, yeah, the way he works his team, the way he picks from a streamlined squad, a slim squad. I'll see you next time I'm going to see you, McConnell, or whoever it might be, is going to be on the tour in the summer, because that's it, man. That's your FA Cup is gone. It's all Champions League and Premier League from here on in, because we were deep in the other thing. So, yeah, it's how do you call up on someone? I think Chiesa. Yeah, I would love to know, because there is something. We're all speculating on this, but this is so crazy that there has to be something going on. I think one of the ones I was throwing out there was like, oh, cool, yeah, you want to pick up a player that I had no input in? Yeah, cool, bring him in. Yeah, cool. But guess what? I ain't going to play him.
Right.
So I'll play your game, but I'll also show you that I won't just play anybody. I'll also be strong about it. It could be that. It could be that he's whatever. We don't know. But what we see with our eyes when he comes on just says a player who could at least have done or had a bigger impact than someone like Jota did today for 45 minutes. And he said, okay, he's not starting, fine, but and then boom, but then he doesn't even come off the bench. It's like, right, okay, if you're Chiesa, you can be the happiest lad in the world, but what are you feeling going home today? You know, you're going to know. So I'm not saying it's Arne Slot's job to make players happy. It's his job to win football matches for Liverpool. That's his job. You do that by keeping players happy. Some managers do it by being assholes. I'm not quite sure what he is yet, which he is. I wouldn't be surprised also if the first raft of players that leave the club aren't as glowing as they would be about someone like Klopp, maybe. And even Klopp had some people who went, yeah, I couldn't get on with him. You know, but that's what it's like now. Some hard decisions to be made. Elliot has never started a Premier League game under Slot. Endo has never started a Premier League game. You know, their minutes are minimal.
Under Arne Slot. Under Slot.
Yeah. Under Arne Slot, yeah. You know, so like you say, someone like Jota plays and plays and plays. I think I can read it one way, but I don't want to. I just mean basically the way I think is like he's playing who he thinks is good enough, and the other guys he doesn't think they're good enough. But that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, it's not going to be helpful to expect people. And someone like Darwin, someone like Trent. Look, if you know you're leaving in the summer, we only need 2 more wins. To be honest, lads, you may as well just sit in the stands. You know, because we're going to get it done anyway. But I think it will not be. There'll be a lot of things about this title win that are a bit off and a bit weird. But I think the squad unity at the end of it will be very much like it will be a title winning party, but also mixed in with a kind of a going away party and a breaking up. It's a very unusual time. But that's Liverpool. We can't do it without being weirdly emotional and not, odd. I'm cool with it. But there'll be people picking up league medals and then going, see, at the party, and then I'll see you. We're going. I'm off, kind of thing. It's not, we go again next year. We're at the start of something. Mo and Virgil are saying, but you could have at least at that stage Trent and Nunez, one or two other guys, a Robbo, whoever it might be. That like, hey, the news has also come in that he's leaving, so they could be having a celebration and also kind of a goodbye thing. So it's going to be very unusual summer for us. And like someone said earlier on, we always do it the difficult way. We never do it a straightforward way.
Yeah. How about you, JK?
I agree with what you were saying about the way he's treated certain players. Has had an effect on how we've been playing in the last 2 months. I said it a while back when the season went underway that he's got to keep everyone sweet, even if you don't really like them as players as much. But he's got to keep them sweet, because at the end of the day, someone's moaning can really ruin a whole room full of people, if you know what I mean. Someone who's just like always moaning, and you have to keep it sweet. And I think he could have handled it better. Look at that. Elliot could have played today. Chiesa could have played today. Not a minute between them, bro. That's ridiculous. Jota starting again. So what's like coming on instead of Elliot? What's Szoboszlai going to do? Tell me now. I'm going back to Szoboszlai now. What Elliot can't. Elliot does more than Szoboszlai. Let's be real here. And that game, and he can't even get a game, bro. And this is what I don't understand about Slot. He needs to wake up. He's gonna, I wouldn't say lose friends, because he ain't in it to make friends, but Jurgen Klopp had something special about him. He kept it sweet with everyone. I don't care. You never really seen a player have little. Klopp never called out players in press conferences, stuff like that. Shouldn't do it. That's your family, you don't say nothing about any player, because why is he getting game time?
Yeah.
You make up something. You'll say, yeah, when he's ready, he's ready. Simple answers, instead of, he's not good enough and he's lacking this and this, that, and the other. Manager shouldn't do that. It's not bullshitting, it's just not just making a soap opera out or something. But for me, Slot, he could have done something really spectacular this season. He could have won a lot more than just the Premier League, my opinion. But him playing the same guys all the time calculated into us losing steam in the last 6 weeks. And it's as simple as that. So for me, he should realise that. Look, I play this guy, this guy, this guy every game, and they're all at the same time not at the races. There you go. And there's enough guys in the subs bench who can come and do a job. I don't care what anyone says. Then you're on mute.
Yeah, no.
12.
I moved when I moved my this wire, it muted the mic for a second. Hopefully you can hear me now.
Just ruining it, you know what I mean, bro? Like at the end of the day, keep the vibe cool. Don't let upset anyone. Look at Simicast's face today, bro. When he came off Simicast, it's like someone robbed his house keys and car keys. His face. Simicast was doing sound. We had a clean sheet, and everything was okay at the back. When you really look at it, it was okay. They didn't score, whatever. Robertson comes on, and look what happens to Calamity. I will say this: I don't really want to see a defense get subbed. Why? Because if you've got a clean sheet as a defense for majority of the game, you're so concentrated and locked in to get that clean sheet that you're not going to make a mistake. As soon as you start making subs when the game is like 1-0, you're welcoming maybe a mistake. Because the guy's fresh on the pitch, he's getting 100 miles per hour, he can't handle it. And yet calamitous action like what happened with Robertson and Virgil. That was, as soon as the sub came up, Robertson coming on, I was thinking, why? We don't need Robertson to come on now. Why? Simicast is doing okay. The defense is doing okay. We're not leaking a goal in. It's okay, you know. And this is when I realised that's going to upset us. And look what happened.
Yeah.
Never sub a defense unless that guy is properly injured. Keep the same guys on for the full 90. Solid. Unless you're 4-5-0 up, yeah, make a sub, carry on. But when it's tight, keep the same players on the pitch who started it, who have kept that clean sheet until that point. That's a very important thing. As a manager, you should not sub defenders. No need.
Is that no? Let's make sure I get an update on something here. Something else. That's something. I was just going to say also, the subs that we used. I get it, and I understand that we used those subs that, or not understand, but it was interesting how we even the way it just looked a little discombobulated. Very, very, very rarely do you make your substitutions or at least want them to go in during a corner kick, for instance. You know, not saying, luckily it didn't amount to us getting scored on or something, but it was just like, you know, it was little substitutions like that where it's like, okay, interesting, you know, like we're defending a substitution, defending a corner. And I can only assume that maybe he wanted to bring in a little bit more height for the corners and the likes by bringing in Kwanzaa. That was the substitution period that they did that. But yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, Pops is in the house. Big up. That's not unfortunate. That is fortunate. But I was gonna say, unfortunately, BVQ or VV, as he likes to call him. He's not a right back. You're absolutely right about that. He's not a right back. And despite having experience as playing a right back for the lower levels, that was yeah. His I don't know what it was, but he was like he wasn't turned, you know, dialed in before the little mishap between Robbo and VVD. But he was suspect in the buildup of that play too.
Well, Pops
Yeah, and
brought
I
up
agree
something
with
there.
Pops too, what he says as well.
He there was a moment there, it stood out to me where they had the ball on the halfway line and we were in a 4-3-3, and you could see it every now and again. Sometimes a team lines up so perfectly, it's just like 4-3-3. And West Ham had the ball, and Dom just moved forward. Mo moved out a little bit, and Dom just ran. This all happened in the space of about 10 seconds. And Dom moved forward. We were in a solid 4-3-3. They're holding on to the ball, and Dom goes, right, I'm going to go and press this now. And he went. And we shifted into a 4-2-4.
Mhm.
And Carlos Soler literally just walked past him and walked into the space that he left behind and kept going until he got to the edge of the box and nearly scored. And Dom was just walking back, watching him do it. Like,
Right.
Dom just moved up one, and Carlos Soler went, I'll go into that space. Went right past him, and Dom went, where's he off to? Oh, look at him. He's run towards the goal. Better try and jog and catch up. He was just giving a little jog. You know, it was, yeah, he just literally he just walked through the middle of us in one move, because Dom went from being in a 3 to being into a front 4. And it was so lethargic the way he did it. It was so kind of pre-programmed. The Soler just went, oh, nice one. Went right past him, no challenge on him. And Dom was just like, okay, he's not my man anymore. He's gone. I better see you later. So, and yeah, if the guy had a bit of a better chance, he could have scored it. But he just walked through the middle of the pitch. You know, like, that's fine going to a 4-2-4, but you got to make it fucking work. I mean, if you're just going to let people walk past you, then 2 in the middle ain't so good. You know, that 4-2-4 means that 4 up front is supposed to, like, you know, not let stuff like that happen. And that was Dom just standing there watching him walk. It's like, man, if I've dropped you, right? I'm your coach, and I've dropped you today because, let's face it, you've been pretty shit, and I bring you on, and then I see you do that. What are you trying to tell me there? What are you trying to tell me? You're not trying to tell me, coach, you should never drop me, man. You should never drop me. Look at the energy. He just stood there like he'd been playing for 98 minutes and he had no legs anymore. So that to me is like not the reaction of a player who's been dropped, gets a chance to come back on the pitch and prove the coach wrong. No, that was so poor. That was really, really poor. And of all the things I've seen from Dom, that today really did kind of
Was
worry me. That's
uncharacteristic.
stood out.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
uncharacteristic.
really. Like, you're not going to run back. You're just going to stand there, like, you know. Sorry, if Mario Balotelli going, well, it's not my job. Not my job, chase him. You know, no, dude. I just, yeah, and like I say, you've been dropped. Go on and prove the coach wrong. You shouldn't have dropped me. Look at this. Look what I can do.
Mhm.
No, man. He was just proving him fucking right. He's like, yeah, why'd you even bring me on? No, not good. And this is a guy, we can't say that his spirit has been crushed, because he starts every game. It's not like, oh, well, he's left on the bench, he never plays. Why do you expect him not to? No, this is Dom Spozak. He plays every single game.
Mhm.
He's one of
Right.
the favorites, people say. So we can't say, oh, well, how can you expect him to be good if he doesn't play? He plays all the time. And as soon as he gets dropped, he comes on and he leaves a stinker like that on the pitch. Oh, man. Not for me. It's not for me, Dom.
Yeah. Yeah. I know he's not for JK, but as well. Let's not get him started
That
up.
performance today
Yeah.
that's a 0 out of 10.
Yeah. I'd ask Nolante very similar question though. We saw some questionable substitutions that could be easily said. Some of us have the perception that we saw possibly even some somewhat questionable starters, or maybe even more so questionable energy from the players that did get the chance to touch the pitch. Is in their mind, maybe, just maybe, is maybe in their mind this league just already wrapped up. You know, I'm not saying every player on the pitch performed that way. I know that I think that Mohamed Salah got the player of the match from the game, I think, or
purely for his first half performance, because we couldn't get the ball to him in the
well,
second when they put Wan-Bissaka over there.
that was just the thing. I also saw something that had Lucho get the player of the match as well. I thought Lucho was probably our best player, or maybe probably our best player. A very close. Ali will get a very close shout. But I think Lucho was our best player. And again, it's a case where like Lucho was not only our best player today, but he was a player that played with intensity. I thought he was actually he seemed like he did have I wouldn't say score to settle, but you know what I mean. Like he's playing like he was locked in. You know, and despite the fact, and again, this is a player that has been now rumors circulating that he might be one of the names to go in the summertime, or that he might be a player that that we might look to move, you know, or a player that might even be looking to move. That said, he didn't play like that was in any form of his mind today. Really well taken goal. Like as in, you know, the fact that Salah's pass could have easily been interpreted as being going for Hatta. Again, Hatta, I wish he had a little bit more pace. Maybe he gets that earlier, but doesn't matter. It ends up working out just well for us because Lucho does have pace, and he was able to see what Salah was about to do, get involved in the process, and get the goal. Get a very, very well taken goal. Even did a little bit of the Salah celebration on the
side. That was good.
Signboard. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Proper respects.
Look, bro, Diaz quickly for me. If Szoboszlai did what Diaz does in a game, 100% effort, we wouldn't be moaning about Szoboszlai.
And we normally do get that. Yeah. We normally do get that. That was interesting. We normally do get that. From Dom, we normally do get at least the one thing you can say. Might not be getting all of the goal scoring or the assists and everything else that everyone's calling out for, but you do get the engine. You know, you do get him. You do see him pressing. Normally you do. Is it a case maybe that you know what he feels at times he's tired of being just the only one that seems to want to have the intensity to press, other than maybe Lucho, you know. Was that the case? I don't know. Not making excuses for him now. Nolante, the question though is for you, if you can though. With today, what would you have done different from the start, and what would you have done different with the subs? Because I saw a comment in the chat that I thought was pretty spot on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Basically, it just said, you know, what was very, very interesting in this game was very, very interesting. And I'll look to see so I can get proper view to the person that said it.
I'll find it. Just paraphrase and I'll find it.
It was basically that second half substitutions came on and we looked worse.
Exactly.
It was almost as if like the subs came on and like it didn't bring intensity, it didn't bring energy, it didn't bring like. Tell me what Cody did today. Tell me. We all know what Robbo did today. You know. Tell me what we just spoke on what Kwanzaa did today. You guys were just talking about what Dom did today. That's 4 subs deep right there. And then finally we get Endo at the very end to, you know, do mop-up duty with 5 minutes left in regular time.
Yep. You know why? Because none of them subs were Harvey, Elliott, Kays, or Darwin. Because all them 3, when they come on, they bring energy. Or something. They bring something. You know what I mean? All the subs that came on, didn't need them. I just didn't understand the Robertson one for me. No need for it. because Simicast was pissed. And he was thinking, I could finish this game. And he ain't played for a while. The guy's fit. He's ready to play the full 90. It's 1-0 to
He
us.
didn't look
Leave it as it
this
is.
was that was it. My highlight right there. He didn't look happy going. I mean, not many people do look happy
pissed.
going off. You know, I can understand you
Mo
going
didn't
off.
look happy.
Hmm?
Sorry, no, Mo didn't look happy either. Mo didn't look happy either.
Mo didn't look happy either.
Mo never looks
right.
He never did Salah. He didn't
So
go
we
down.
don't-
That's the standard.
Yeah, that's standard Mo, like, you know. Standard Mo's fair. Yeah, nobody likes to get the hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I just meant, like, was Simicast, I'm watching this playback. That was right before the James Ward-Prowse handball. Look, you know what? You could also see, again, there's those that can bemoan maybe the jostling in by VVD, but you can see the West Ham player basically grabbing Lucho's arm and, like, tugging him down on the corner. But that didn't amount to a goal or anything like that. But back to what we were saying. I was just saying, Simicast, when he was subbed off, he seemed like, what did I do wrong? You know? It just looked like he's like, look, man, you don't play me. We've had Robbo having a couple stinkers in a row. You know what I mean? And finally get my opportunity. I'm playing decent. I'm playing pretty well. And then you're subbing me off already?
What's Johnny
In the 60th minute, you're subbing me off? You can you can only get 60 minutes out of Simicast?
You know what I mean?
I think he looked.
What's Johnny Hettinger doing on the bench?
I think he looked angry too. I did. He didn't look. Maybe anger might be going too far. Maybe look more disappointed to some, but
He's fed up.
He didn't look happy.
Okay,
happy, bro.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I think
again, 5 substitutions. All five of those substitutions did nothing.
Yeah.
If anything, like Hylor said, I think somewhat made us worse. And then
normally
also, what's crazy about too is that one, it's saying with the substitutions that were used, other than Cody, they're all defensive basically, and I'm sure JK will be right back. Other than Cody, they're all pretty much defensive in essence. You know, Dom, you could argue maybe that's an offensive, but I mean,
no, that's totally
I'm sure I'll get battled
back.
No.
Nobody could say that was a defensive substitution. That's an offensive substitution. Dominic Spalletti, attacking midfielder, Gakpo, the other 3. Endo got timed wrong. Endo's supposed to come on and we don't lose. And then he's looking around. But no, I just want to say it's like Nolante said, like, nobody wants to see a player happy going off. And of course I get that as well with some people. But now that there's 5 subs, like back in the day when there was 3 subs, like they might make 2 and then they'd keep that one a little bit back for as late as possible just in case. Now that you have 5 subs, it's like, oh well, he was on a yellow card, so we took him off. It's like, what? Back in the day, people would be on yellow cards all the time. So, oh no, we have to take him off. He's on a yellow card. This is all because they have 5 subs. You know, 3 meant they had to think a lot more about who they took off and who they left on. Like if there's no 5 subs, Simi isn't coming off today. No chance. Absolutely no chance. You know, he'll be keeping one back for Endo. He'll be keeping one back for a striker to come on, and then one other around that. But you're not making random Kwanzaa and Robbo subs. You're just not going to do that. But yeah, like, because Klopp was very kind of famous for wanting the 5 subs brought in. But then, like, the season after, he, like, used the least subs in the league or something. So he didn't actually do it that much because he's a bit more old school. He knew it needed to be brought in, but his mentality was to still keep it tight. You don't want to change too much. Like JK was saying, you don't just go taking off defenders. Back in the day, you'd never take off one of your back 4 unless they got injured. You know, especially that they're keeping a clean sheet, you keep them on, keep it all tied together. But this 5 subs things now, it's given him the chance to do that. And I don't like him, and it's especially when today just a little bit too much. Like, what did Kwanzaa and Robbo bring to the party? Maybe Bradley. Yeah, Bradley's just back off some stuff, but he went off early. He's taking a few knocks, but they're overly cautious now as well. So, yeah, just this 5 subs thing is giving him excuses to just go, yeah, Simi, 67 minutes and you're off. He's like, what? I've got at least another 10 minutes left in me. No problem. But yeah, and then Robbo comes on and, well, I don't know if it was 67, but you know what I mean? It's like Robbo comes on and then all that shit happens.
Mm-hmm. Again, I was just bringing clarity too. I know you said that you don't think it was defensive. Pops was with you on that. I know others would say the same. And but I was the reason why I was saying maybe was in his mind a little bit more of a defensive measure, simply because maybe he was looking to intensify the amount of pressing or counter pressing, or the kind of defensive pressure that you would get from Dom, who obviously by coming in the 68th minute, give me 20 minutes of you just going all out, full energy, and getting and making sure that they can't get anything started. That's why I was saying that maybe he was it was more of a defensive minded substitution, because you're probably going to get a little bit more of that out of Dominic than you are Curtis Jones. And then what was interesting though is, again, he brought in Kwanzaa as a defensive measure. I'm sure everyone would think, probably also because he doesn't want to totally rinse Connor, and since he's just coming back. The Robbo for Simicast I thought was defensive again, and then obviously Endo for Salah is pretty defensive as it gets, but the Cody for again, I just don't get it. I understand you want to get Cody firing again. You want to get him back in form, because he's been in phenomenal form before his injury. Cody was in phenomenal form, and I think he's a phenomenal player. But I mean, like, at the expense of players that are in form, at the expense of players that have been ready and waiting, I'm not exactly a fan of that procedure. So what Pop's saying again, we went 4-2-4 after being comfortable in 4-3-3. Okay.
No, and just like you were saying, when he brought on Dom, expecting that defensive, that's what I was saying earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
You bring him on, and he absolutely did not deliver that.
Right.
That's a problem, dude. I'm going to take off Jonesy because Dom can come on and lock it down, and he sauntered around the place at a key moment. So, yeah. Bad report card today.
Yeah. That report card's gonna be interesting when we get to Arnie tomorrow. But I will say too, Delonte, I know you've been very quiet the entire episode. I'm sure you're keeping yourself measured. It's a very interesting predicament. Also, I'll emphasize the part of what of the question I was trying to do as well earlier, in that we spoke on this bench had 2 keepers on it. So out of the selections, that's out of the 9 selections, you're only going to have 7 to choose from, really, that you're going to want to be bringing on. And again, this coach decided and said, you know what, let's go. I just can't emphasize. I think that he wants more defensive and trying to hold on to that 1-0 lead, more so than trying to build on that 1-0 lead, because he could have easily brought in Elliott. He could have easily brought in Elliott. He could have easily brought in Chiesa rather than bring Cody. Could have brought in Chiesa for Hata. I would have kept Simicast on. If you want to bring someone on, you could have possibly taken out Cujo and replaced him with Elliott, and that alone would have been like, let's go get this brace. Let's go get that second goal. give us some space, give us some room to breathe, and not really have to worry about a West Ham team. We're not talking about some top of the table team. Not saying they're poor in the sense of that they're, relegation bound, but I am saying though that it's almost like we were like, yeah, we're done trying to fight you for these goals. Do you think opposite? Do you think elsewise, Nolante? Or maybe if you have something else that you want to say, go ahead. This is your moment.
Well, look, I'll focus on the positive. We won the game. We're 2 games away of number 20, so that's a great thing. But the likes of a certain someone who is not on this channel because they can't take being subjective. You just got to be real. You just got to be real. Like I said, we give Slot praise when he's done well, which all of us have. And when there's criticism to be had. If certain fans that person who will not be named because I don't want to give him too much air, then obviously he's buggered off and he's moaning. He's very disrespectful and he's an idiot. But anyway, sorry, we'll move. Anyway, we'll move from him. But listen, life is life. Look, sometimes, I'm just gonna say it like this. I had a good friend of mine call me about something who he thought I was trying to, I was just kind of disrespect to him when I wasn't, when I didn't know he could do something. And we spoke about it, and yeah, I did. I'm surprised they think that because I'm not a person to mock someone. Because, like, for instance, he said he's played tennis. I was like, really? Because I've known him for a long time, over 20 years, and he's never offered me to play tennis. And he phoned me and he said he felt a bit disrespected, which I was a bit surprised because I think I'm not the kind to disrespect someone. I said I was shocked because you've never told me this. And we had the back and forth and we settled it. And why I'm saying this is football is opinions. We can't be happy-go-lucky like JK said. JK just let off the leash. JK is the shooter and he's targeting a certain someone. So listen, when JK said he wants to get his Adidas Predators and be on the pitch, that says it all.
Mm-hmm.
When JK says, you know what, I'm finished, and JK is a man of modesty, but when JK's feeling like that, he's done. 12th we've gone back. Obviously, Brian, we've gone back at this, and yeah. Now I understand. I saw, big up the chat pops. I know he said about the 4-2-4 with more open. But it wasn't a 4-2-4. There was still, yes, it was more open, but there was still instances. And I've been again, I don't want to say I'm like a broken record, but there's been times during the season, even when we're winning runs, our midfield gets bypassed too easily. Yeah. And it's not just a 4-2-4. It's because the positional sense. Now we've done a lot of great work. Whole praise to Slot. But it just goes to show we need a DM. We just need a certified DM to hold, like a Fabinho, etc., to hold and sit. We just need more. I just think we need, and again, it's hard to say when we win in the league with more balance. Now, Helia, made some interesting points himself, and he said, "Look, we're going to win this league. It's first season. Yeah, no problem. When we do that, we'll celebrate it, but you get the good and the bad with the goods." I want to know anyone in chat who wants to make an excuse for a week off for a performance like that. And granted, we won. I'm glad. We're all glad we won, of course. But I want to hear the excuses from anyone who wants to make an excuse for that performance for a week's rest. Because I was hearing other people saying, "Oh, the Fulham defeat. Oh, we played Everton midweek when all the other Premiership teams played." So how does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, just make it make sense. And yeah, I'm glad, but it's just jarring. And like I said, and a lot again, I appreciate Slot. Like, obviously, me and Brian were talking about this yesterday. Brian's he's not happy with the style of play, and I get it at times. I feel before January or before up to the end of the month, January, we were playing controlled football, but with the pressing, with the mentality of pushing forward. We had a balance. We had a nice style, which was nice. But at the end of the day, Slot, and again, I think he's been a bit arrogant. I'm not gonna lie, because make it make sense. First half, there's we're cruising. In the second half, I don't know what these players are doing. I don't know if it's Arsenal, the lackadaisical, and again, yes, again we're going to put, but it's if that they've had the Christmas has come early and the bowls ties been wrapped. Now, again, the lineup, Simicast, cool, Grav and Mac, they had good moments, but again, it wasn't I mean, we're still getting bypassed. Curtis Jones, for me, look, he's done well, but I don't want to see him I wanted Harvey to start. This was a game for Harvey to start. I mean, and again, like Brian said, look, no Harvey Elliott start, no Endo start. And is anyone telling me they cannot start 1 or 2 league games? Is anyone telling me that? I mean, come on now. Curtis had a poor game. He didn't do much. And I hear what Brian says, because when we move the ball, it's just sometimes we can be controlled. There's controlling the ball and there's playing with precision. Harvey, everyone goes about working hard, and so does Harvey. But the difference with Harvey, he's more forward thinking with the ball. He puts balls in the middle. He's making to those passes, and that's, I mean, I don't hard to say. And the subs, I mean, Kwanzaa, I'm not gonna lie. At first, but with the reaction when he came on for Bradley, I was fuming. I was thinking, what you do? But then I just realised that, yeah, of course, managing minutes, so Kwanzaa had to come on, which fair enough, I get that. And Kwanzaa again has to do better with the ball. He was sleeping when Wan-Bissaka came, and what's happened this season. So I'm not going to discuss that. And the defense was still a little bit shaky at times. It's a little bit concerning. Still shaking. Kudus, listen, this guy needs to come.
Yeah. We were fortunate.
This guy needs to come to Liverpool, yeah. Kudus, I'm seeing him, like, again, he's West Ham's best player. I'm seeing him spin and run through the midfield or hold 3 or 4 man off, and he's unlucky not to score. And he's had an average season. He's had a great season, but for me, he'll fit in the glove. If you want to get rid of Sobo, Harvey, for Kudus, whatever, get him in ASAP for me. He would, in my opinion, he would take an excellent Liverpool. Now, the fact of the matter is, again, Slot is trying to be too smart with certain things. And again, we're becoming a team of moments. Well, Moments FC at the moment. Again, I don't know what's going on or what's missing. And the predictable subs, Gakpo, so, but why? Again, I'm not going to say what we'd be thinking. You got Elliot and Kaysen, like Brian said, he wanted, and a lot of people wanted Kaysen up and up number 9. And the Darwin thing, well, again, we'll hear more about that. I mean, I can't mention him because he was out of the squad, but he would have been a bit useful today. Maybe he scored, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know, but it's no point because he was not involved. But and again, like Simicast, you started him and you're taking him off. Why? Why are you taking him off? And Endo is the usual shut down shop FC, which was boring to me, just proactive. And the Caves is just probably sitting there thinking about, I'm going to make some dinner with some nice spaghetti, bolognese, and be some meats on the side, because he's becoming like a little bit of a hologram. I mean, what is he doing? I mean, and then you take Salah off. Why don't you have the stomach to put on Chiesa? And Salah the first 45 minutes, he was great. He was good. He was the Salah of old. That was the Salah that I saw. But after that, he was anomalous. He went missing, and some of it is down to us not controlling the game. But yeah, so I'm just a bit dumbfounded by Slot and some of his decisions. With his subs decisions. And again, he brought West Ham, the subs, he should have, different subs. He brought West Ham in the game, and another day would have dropped points. But look, ultimately we won, we move, and I'm glad. But again, I don't know. Like next season, I don't know who he wants to get, but this thing he has with players or with arrogance, it's just again, it's very irritating for me. It is very, very irritating me. But look, we got the win, and yeah, big up Lucho. Look, I think I'm just thinking about.
No, say that with chest.
No. Big up Lucho. No, seriously. But big up Lucho, stuff like that, and yeah, he was. I was thinking he only had a good first half, but second half he's the only one really driving forward. The little bits he had, he was beating a man. So yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
He almost had a really good. I thought he was
the equalizer. Yeah,
scored a brace for us, or his brace at least. This is after we'd just gotten conceded the own goal.
Yeah.
When it nipped, it deflected off the
The
player.
shot. Yeah. That's right. So when I think about it, you're right. Mr. Lucho, Mr. Angel, who's gone missing MIA. All those Lucho performances, yeah. And he deserves his start. Like I said, Cody's not happening. And yeah, I guess there's not really much else I can say. We go on, but I don't know. I just hope next season, whoever Slot doesn't be this arrogant and greedy man, and he rotates this squad, whoever's there or not. Because what's the point? What is the point otherwise? I just thought he wasn't proactive. The Kwanzaa one, I get it. It's not ideal for Bradley, but the others, I don't get. Gakpo, yeah, I mean, I guess so, but I just don't get the others. And I just want my manager to be a bit proactive because it kind of nearly cost us. If he's seen what he's seen and done his research, bring in Kudus ASAP. That's it, really.
You saw both sides of Kudus today. I think there was at one point where he was just doing pirouettes between three of our players on the edge of the box for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
didn't like that. It was great skill and all that. Then he gives it to Aaron Wan-Bissaka of all people. Says, "Here, follow that up, mate." And he tried and he did it, but then he gets the ball back and he tries to play this kind of outside of the boot pass, and it's like this weak. It was basically a duff chip, went about 5 yards. So he's still got that kind of, I didn't want to say it, but he's the guy that's playing for a move. I expect him to turn it on. Big game on TV against Liverpool. I'm not saying but I think he's that kind of player where he knows he's on the stage. So you can see what he's good at. But he needs to be motivated. He needs to be focused because he can do it. But then he can also play the worst pass you've ever seen after beating 5 people. He needs to kind of refine that stuff. But he's like an Akacha. He's like I don't know, whatever, one of those kind of players. He's got all the ability, all the flair, but you got to channel it. And you got to, when you have a half a chance, a half a second, you got to play the right pass. So I'd be really worried if we did sign him, but I'd also be massively intrigued and excited by it because he's old school. He's proper old school. He'll try stuff. It's just, are you prepared for it to not always come off? But yeah, pure entertainment, man. Pure entertainment, so he is.
Yep. Agreed. Shout out to Ali, of course. Yep. Ali was really good today too. But I just think, Lucho, Ali kept us in the game. Lucho provided a little, the very few bits of offensive spark and real cohesion today to get it. And again, this is why I asked. I understand. I maybe this coach is trying to figure out how to get that spark, back between that front line that we had with Salah, Diaz, and Salah, Diaz, and Cody. However, in a game like today, I would have liked to have seen some creativity. We saw Bowen nearly get a goal. That was a great save by Ali, by the way. We saw you spoke on Kudus. Kudus had that one. I think that was Kudus' shot, right? That clipped the bar basically. But
the first
yeah.
one, yeah, the
Ali
early
got
one,
First
yeah,
one,
the
yeah.
tip on
The
it.
lob.
Yeah.
yeah. That was it.
Very, very
Hit the
close to
bar
scoring there.
twice, I think, didn't it? Hit the bar 3 times, twice.
Yeah,
Twice.
at least twice,
right.
if not 3
Yeah.
times.
Twice, yeah.
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 Because
The other one that Ali saved, Ali saved that one. That was probably going in. The other one, yeah, I mean, you love to see that, but because McAllister tried the same thing, then again later on, tried basically the same thing Kudus tried. Chip curl onto the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the free kick.
Macca had the free kick you're talking about? Yeah. That's what you're talking about, right?
That's the one that
McAllister's.
landed him, but I won the one from Ireland when he was out on the right hand side and he tried that kind of the same kind of thing Kudus tried, but from further out.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of bent over from open play. Yeah,
That was a
free
great
kick
shot.
was-
That was a really good shot.
yeah,
Millimeters away from in.
free was a great free as well.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna look up the statistic on how many times the wood.
Who needs Trent Alexander-Arnold, eh? Mac gets an assist from the corner.
Yeah.
Hits the bar with a free kick. You know, he's got the quality. You
Yeah,
know,
it's been like that for a while.
Twice. They hit the woodwork twice. We hit the woodwork twice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's twice.
Lucho's
4
goal
times.
hit the woodwork. Or Lucho's shot, excuse me, hit the woodwork. Who else is
They
shot?
deflected off Wan-Bissaka
Yeah.
at the bar, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Fulcrew's header hit the bar. That was the one that hit the bar for them.
I mean, none of us were Nostradamus in flagging him up as an issue if he did come on. I flagged him up. The lads talked about him. He came on. He got a header and he hit the bar. You know, I'm just glad he wasn't on the pitch for half an hour because I thought we might have had a different scenario.
Look, they had 10 shots inside the box. We had 11. They had 10. That's a concern. That's a real big concern. They had 11 shots total, 15 shots we had 15. They had 11 shots. 6 on target for us, 4 on target for them. Obviously, we said about the 2, the Desmond for the woodwork. But when it came to shots being blocked, we had 5 shots. Some of them obviously were most notably by Ali. And they only had 1 block shot. That was the one that I spoke on about Lucho's. And then, 11 shots in the box, 10 to theirs. That's a concern to me. That's a real concern.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. And we brought it on ourselves. We just and it's happened since the start of the season. I remember the first time I saw it in the Chelsea game. Like at times, even though Chelsea we done defensively well, but the midfield when they got bypassed too much at times. And I think that's something Slot really needs to change and sort out this next season. And we do need the DM. Like if Endo is somehow gonna stay, I mean I don't think so. Then if Endo's gonna stay, then
by the way, I don't know what Endo needs to stay, considering that he's one of the few players on our bench that can ensure us at least some defensive prowess.
True. I'm done with that 12. I don't want to do the whole I get bored of that Endo thing. Like every time and people are like, oh yeah, great, but why is he not good enough to start a game? Do we not once in a while just show it up with like Endo, grab, Mac, or something like that? Because it's just like I said, I just think it's just pointless, and we're just becoming a moments team, and it's like certain fans don't want and it's just like I mean, sorry for the criticism, sorry for just pointing certain things out, certain fans just find it hard to hear, but it's like you don't want your team to improve, but it's no point him being there if he's just going to be all like 5 minutes here and there. Then let him go and buy someone else that you do want. This is the thing, and this is what I don't understand. Yeah, you know what I mean, bro? Like I just don't understand that. It just baffles me and annoys me. And people want to, like I said, and yes, we are going to win the league, and I'm going to be real, and I don't care because, like I said, don't know about anyone else. I look at the football club. I don't look at Player FC. Certain fans want to do Play FC, that's up to them. I'm just looking at the bigger picture as a football player. And like I said, you know, if doesn't care with it's Mo, whoever, if they're not doing it, then just it's not a crime for him to say, you know what, it's not happening for you. Be on the bench or sub, or then let someone else try. Let's try something different. Let's be proactive. Let's try something different. Every big coach in this world, they don't cater to star players, no matter how good they are. If it's not happening for them, let's try something different. Let's be proactive. That is all we're asking, you know. That is it. But you know, the players are at the moment getting the moments, you know, doing the moments FC job, and fair play and fair enough, and that's good, great. Two games win, and yeah, great. But you know, and I think we're all in agreement that next season we just want a bit more. We just want to have. I don't want my manager clocking out certain players and then giving blight to certain other players. I want him to be consistent. You know. You know, and you know, like Helia said in the chat, you know, him man just saying illness to Nunes. Well, I'm not sure if I believe that. That didn't look like a man who's ill. But it is what it is. But I don't mind. He when he call
He
out, just
wasn't.
call out. Yeah,
He
you
wasn't
know what I
sick.
mean, Brian? Yeah,
No, he wasn't
just
sick. He was
he wasn't sick.
happy
Yeah.
smiling away. If he
Oh
was
yeah.
well enough to be there, like Healer even said as well, if it was anything that might have been a problem, you wouldn't be sitting beside somebody else. But yeah, there was nothing wrong with him at all.
Yeah.
That was pure manager speak. Oh, he came in yesterday. He was a little bit ill, so he took him out today. But he's sitting there, he's smiling, he's happy. That's just total. Yeah, I'm not buying that for 1 second.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Like we all know, the guy's going to go in the summer. So yeah, whatever. It's just not a big. It shouldn't be even an issue anymore. Like the same with Trent is probably like that's a picture of, you know, show me two people who are leaving Liverpool in the summer without telling me they're leaving Liverpool. You know, that's the two of them sitting right there. That's your
Mm,
you know, that's your little group.
yeah.
Someone like Endo, you know, he brought him in today, and then the game switched, and he'd probably thinking because that's his normal thing is to bring him in to tie up a game, and then we don't lose. Today it didn't. He's probably thinking he went for the 1-0 a bit early, obviously too early. But I think the gloves are coming off now in terms of, you know, Chiesa. We would all like to see have a future, but if you can't even come on in a game like that, yeah, I mean, it's sad to see. It really is sad to see. Mo coming off, Chiesa doesn't come on. A lot of these people, like we said, defensive, so like defenders coming on. Even Gakpo is a straight swap. Really disappointing for the lad.
Yeah.
Not for, you know, like I say, it's like you said, it's not player FC. I'm at FC. It's like we're not here. We're not in the business of making players feel good about themselves. We're in the business
Some
of
do,
winning
Brian.
football matches and winning titles. You know, but there's always going to be people on the wayside that aren't happy. You know, and you just got to live with that. And like what JK is saying is like, there's always a squad where there's a few guys that aren't happy, but it's how they deal with it and how they live with it. It's not, to me, it's not about like they should just be grown up and adult about it and go, this is football. It's a ruthless business. I'm not in the team. Yeah, I can be a bit pissed off about it, but I'm not going to be the guy kicking up a stink in the dressing room. You know, you can go, move on. You can say, look, this ain't working out for me here. If you have a problem with a coach, you know, we're not talking about Zlatans and Ronaldos, your huge egos. So you can have players in the team that they just know they're on the fringes. And that's what he did when he came out in that conference about Endo. And he said, look, this is a guy who literally knows his Liverpool career in the league under me is going to be coming on with 8, 9, 10, 16 minutes left. And he deals with it and he's happy. He's fine. He comes in. He isn't a problem. He was putting out two messages there. Like there's that kind of player in this team, and you can deal with it in one of two ways. You can either deal with the way Endo deals with it, or you can not be happy about it. So, yeah, like you said, man, I don't see like if Endo like that's what like Pops is saying. We can't sell these guys, so we gotta look at it next summer. Like Endo, if you could have sold him in the summer and replaced him with somebody else, or in the January, probably would have been done. Probably would have left if we'd signed Zubamendi. I think he was nearly on the verge of going to Marseille, if I'm not wrong.
But they stopped the deal. They stopped the
Yeah,
deal. The
because
club, right?
we weren't getting Zubamendi. So he probably wouldn't be here if we got him at the end. You know,
But
so
mm,
yeah, he'd probably be gone in the summer now anyway. So it's like you're talking about next looking on, it's just like, yeah, the boys who aren't going to have a future here, it's kind of like it's been made obvious, it's been made clear to me anyway, the way I see it. You know, why would these players who barely get a look in this season, why, when the manager will and the club will get a chance to bring in a few, you know, their own players, why will these players all of a sudden get minutes next year? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what will Elliot, Endo, Simi, Nunes, what will be different about them next year? Nothing. And even more, they'll have people that have been brought in ahead of them, probably. So I would just look on it purely as a minutes basis. Harvey Elliott, how many games have you started in the league? 0. Endo, 0. Come on, what more do you really need to know? What's going to be different next year? Endo, when you're a year older. Elliott, when you're a year less playing football under your belt. Nunes. So that's just the way I look at it, purely on a minutes basis. And yeah, like everyone keeps saying, he keeps playing the same players, but that probably tells you who he thinks can stick around and who can't.
yeah,
So best thing to do, isn't it? Just move these guys on, let them get their careers back on track somewhere else. If they're not going to play here, it's no good for us and it's no good for them. That's the way I look at it. A player that isn't playing doesn't help us and it doesn't help the player.
yeah, but no, that's fine. I don't mind that, bro. But like I said, it's for me again. It's the arrogance about it. Like you want to move a player, fine, but just put a personal side. But again, it's his decision. So who am I to question? But what I'm saying is, put it aside. Many managers have done it before. These players have got, like I said, stuff like credit in the bank for doing bits for us in certain games. Just play them and then fine. And then at the end, thank you for your services. Goodbye. You know, like I said, and who knows what this season could have been in terms of, and it's not the fact of losing. We can lose. You can lose and play well, no problem at all. I don't mind that. It's the fact that you have games that they're taking and you use, because of your position and where we are, and just because I don't fancy him. It's just, I don't know, man. It's, I don't want my manager to be one rule for this player. But you don't get on to others who are badly out of form. But it is what it is, bro. But what's done is done, innit? I mean, nothing we can do or say. We're just talking about it here in the chat, and yeah, we just move. Let's just wrap up. I just want to guys to just do their thing in the next games. If it's poor performances, we win, then we win. I guess the same thing. And then obviously, if we win, Leicester, Spurs, and then we can do the celebration, and then there won't be no more from me or anyone about this, that. We'll just celebrate the ring and look at the season as a whole.
Okay, question for you. Would you rather play well and lose, play badly and win?
I know that's the old cliche you're throwing at me. Yeah, of course, but we can't just sit here and just say, yeah, great. Because
No, but you just said you'd be happy to play well and lose, but would you? How many times in a league title season? How many times?
I know, Brian. I know you're using the old cliche against me. I get
No,
that.
but no, I'm not using. I
that.
mean, just say we played 2 games in a row. We played really bloody well, but we lost both of them.
Yes, I get it. I get it. But things can happen. You can play well, or you can play well or not happen. You lose for whatever reason. But yes, I get the win. Yeah, I know. I get that. I understand that. I'm just making a point, just factual that yeah, we do the 2 games. If it's poor like this, like it has been, then yeah. I said we'll go over it. I'll go over it. We'll celebrate it, and then we'll move again next season. But all I'm saying is that the form we had moments from the start of the year, we're winning, but I could see the concerns, and yeah, it didn't bite us in the league because we've done enough. Plus, Arsenal have fallen off, and we didn't expect they're falling off that much, so that's gave us the little buffer. But in 2 important games, we bottled it, and 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 those both games that we could have won, we had, but we didn't. And there's a very factors for that. That's all I'm saying. But it is what it is. It is what it is anyway. So
Yeah, no, I was, joshing with you a little, but I think it's one of those other myths as well. Like I was talking about the other night, like this, it's a myth in football. Whenever you say, "Oh, next year," and they'll list 5 clubs, and say they'll be better, they'll improve. Everyone always said next year. Oh, you can't say because next year City will be better, United will be better, Arsenal will be better, Chelsea will be better, Spurs will be better. No, usually only half of them are. It's this idea that every year, oh, you have to improve because next year Arsenal will be better. They got 90 points. They'll be better next year, so they'll get at least 90 points. Doesn't work like that. And one of the other ones that I have is like when you talk to managers, you talk to players, like it'll be the start of the season, and people saying, "Oh, you've won a few games, but there's apparently, you're not playing very well." The criticism, they'll be like, "Look, this stage of the season, it's all about points on the board. Playing good football, that can come later. That can come later. Playing good football. Right now, it's all about getting points on the board. You get to Christmas time, it's like, games are coming thick and fast. They'll be like, oh, it's not about playing good football now. It's all about getting points on the board. All about getting points on good football. That can come later. Then you get to the next part of the season and you're in the title running. Oh, it's all about getting points on the board. It's not about good football. That's just something they always say. Always say it's not about good football, playing well. So managers have always just said, look, I'm here to win games. Us as fans, yeah, we want to see better football. I definitely want to see better football than what I don't like the way we play. Doesn't impress me much at all. Really doesn't. Especially when you watch some other teams around the world at the moment. I just think we're very functional and we have we've good players, so we do good stuff every now and again. But our style of play to me isn't very exciting or creative, really. But yeah, the whole good football thing. I don't know if I'm ever going to get the good football I want to see from an Arne Slot team, even with some of his players. A quicker, better version of it, yeah, definitely more refined version of it. But I don't think we're going to be a team that I would say that was a great Liverpool side. The creativity in that side, or the ability in that side. I a little bit, and I'm kind of fine with that at the moment. I just think this is the way he plays, and it'll win you games. But yeah, not the best football. I don't know what you guys think, but to me, it is quite kind of well-oiled machine kind of thing, but without much flair or individuality. Not that anybody has that really, but to me, it's just there's something lacking excitement-wise about it. But the control part of it, it's like I suppose that's the trade-off that you make. But I think he tried to control that game at 1-0 today, especially because he brings on Endo. Like when he brings on Endo, it's like locking the door. That's literally just what it is. And that's when we're supposed, like, Endo comes on, we lock it down, we don't concede, and we see out the game. Didn't work like that today. So I think he played his cards a bit too early at 1-0, thinking it was done. And obviously it wasn't. So yeah, I think like you were saying earlier on, he could have made, I think JK was saying he could have made a more, instead of bringing Endo on to lock it down, he could have brought on an Elliot to say, right, let's go for it, or something like that. What you guys think? What's Kevin is saying? We need to acknowledge sports science, need to find out root cause of 2 seasons, 8 games, we fall off massively. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think we just switched off as well, because a lot of the players kind of in their minds are like, officially we're not champions, but this is done. It's like I said with that 100-meter sprinter, when you see him in the last 5 meters, when he knows he's won it, he just starts to slow up a little bit. It's just that kind of, yeah, I've won this now. I need to keep going. I can't stop. If I stop dead still, everyone will go past me. but I don't need to go at 100% power now. I can just go from 100 to 90 to 95, or 95, 90, 80, and then come over the line, unless I'm going for a record. I think we're in that kind of period of just slowing down before we go over the line. And I don't think that's perceptible. I don't think it happens on purpose. I just think we put our foot to the floor all season. And we've been lucky with injuries. Lucky or well managed. Like sports science, like he's talking about, managing injuries. We've done really well in that scenario. But yeah, you won't know unless you're inside the dressing room, really, would you?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we're just speculating on what we think it is, so some on the side of which they won't, but yeah, the slot or fighting the sports science coach that they have there, then yeah. So yeah, but it's interesting. It's interesting. It's yeah, very interesting. JK?
Yeah, I'm not sure if 12th is.
12 is still on mute, is he? JK?
Mm-hmm.
He's
Oh
still
yeah,
away.
JK.
Yeah.
What are you saying about what Brian was mentioning?
Look, I reckon it's true what Brian's saying about we're not great to watch. Very boring, no initiative shown, nothing. But I said at the start of the season, I'm not really bothered how we play this season. For me, it's all about winning games. Now we're at the end of the season and stuff, and we've sort of won the league. I want to see a bit of good football, you know what I mean? Because the job's actually done. Show us a bit of good football, and that's what I think has been. That's why, like for me, we got to win all our games, because for me, I want to go into that parade on the back of winning loads of games. So, like, we lost this one, you know what I mean? It ain't great. Hence why we got to keep on winning, and that's what Slot needs to realize, not to embarrass himself by losing games now. That Fulham result annoying, of course. Things like that. Could have got a draw at Fulham, easy. But for me, Slot, I think I don't know what his backroom team are doing. Because if I'm in his backroom team, I'll be saying what I'm saying you guys are saying. You know what I mean? Common sense. It's like, I don't understand what them guys in the back are doing, what they're watching, what they're studying all this fucking time, getting paid 80 grand a week for what? To start Sobotlai, Gravenberch, and Yotta every time. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, bro. Johnny Hettinger in the background. What's the bloody doing? I'm blaming Johnny, bro.
If
You know
he's
what I mean?
if he's on 80 grand a week, I'll take that job.
He's
Hey,
taking
Brian.
something, bro.
Hey,
He's
we
getting
all
paid
do. We
pretty
split
well.
it 4 ways.
You know what I mean? Johnny bloody Hettinger, bro. What is he doing? Wake up saying, tell Arnie, hey Arnie, this, and this. Give Chiesa a go at number 9. At least he bloody shoots. Yotta don't shoot for nothing. Simple.
Well, at this
Like
rate, I
common sense.
mean, yeah. At this rate, I think you two guys have convinced me. I don't, not 100% with K's number 9, but from when he's kind of sold Darwin in his head and given the fake "I'm ill" storyline, then yeah, flipping over.
That was
It's
iffy.
worth a try. Right now, it's worth a try. Right now, it's worth a try. Well, I think you two have convinced me about that. Yeah, it's worth a try.
Yeah,
Because,
at
mate,
this
I tell you,
stage,
Well, I'm
it's
ready
just
to play number 9.
why the hell not, basically, isn't it?
yeah, flip me, yeah, just flipping,
Give
just
me a reason why not.
yeah. I mean, at this rate, yeah. I mean, we ain't seen Darwin. Well, I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. I don't think we'll see Darwin again, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've gone completely wrong.
In
Nah,
any
Darwin
kind
might
of
be,
he's
meaningful
done.
way, no. Not in a meaningful way. Okay, no.
yeah. So
Definitely
at
not.
this point, you two are right. I think you convinced me, both of you. Honestly. Actually, let me ask you guys and the chat, just out of curiosity, what has happened to Jota, in your opinion? What has happened to Diego?
He's what it is. His
Diogo.
mind and his feet ain't connecting. Simple as that. He can't find his feet. The game's sort of passing him by. You know what I mean? And that's what I reckon, bro. He just can't. I wouldn't say handle it. He's just not getting into the game. He ain't getting into the game. And why can't he get into the game? I don't understand why he can't. Is he getting closed down quicker? Is it this, that, and the other? Because he's had enough opportunities, bro. Another game today. And Darwin's on the subs bench meant to be ill. There you go.
Yeah.
So Slots on a mad one.
Well, Pops is saying basically, why do you think Slot is lying? I didn't say he was lying. Basically, I just think it was deflection. It was like, oh, him, oh no, nothing wrong. He's just a bit sick, so we didn't play him. You know,
Yeah.
Bang, bang, yeah.
it wasn't a lie. It wasn't like saying, oh, this happened and that happened. It was just standard manager. The guy's dropped. It could be for various reasons, but
Deflecting. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like we're not going to make a story out of it. Like he could have gone full Mourinho or full some and slagged the player off and said he's not doing what I need him to do, blah blah blah. You know, but I admire that again in Slot. It's just like no story there, nothing to see there. Next, move on. You know, he was sick. You know, that's it. All you have to say, he was sick, couldn't play. So okay, next one, move on. But if the guy had said, oh, but this and that, maybe he might have got something else. But yeah, to me, as soon as I saw him sat there with Trent, because you know, it could have been some problems at home or personal issues where he couldn't. The reason he needs to deflect is because you don't need that shit. You don't need that shit. It's like if there is a real, if he dropped him because he thinks he's shit, right? He can come out in a press conference and go, Nunes, yeah, I dropped him because I think he's shit.
Yeah,
Or
which he's never going to say.
he can say he was ill. So, which, yeah, that's why you deflect. That's why you don't want to give the press because they'll make it up anyway. So you just go, he was ill. There's your story. No story. The story will be when he leaves. There you go. I'm not going to give you headlines. I'm not going to create drama. Not creating drama is why you would just go, shut it down. There's nothing to see here. The embargo will come out later on. You know, the press, the print press, print media, where they'll get to put their stories, and I'm sure there'll be slightly more questions on it. Well, that is the question, Pops. What happened this week? And I think it's more of, again, I'm just purely speculating on it, but years of watching football, it's just like, yeah, you're out. Do you know what? I've had enough of you. And maybe something did happen, or maybe it's like, let's not play this guy and injure him, because if we play him and injure him, that would be the super cynical version of it for me. If we play him and he breaks his leg, then we're not going to get our 60 million for him. So don't play him. That would be the super cynical version of it. Yeah, United getting done up by Newcastle.
Yeah,
I'm
Newcastle.
honestly a bit confused by
4-1,
your
bro.
reaction and speculation because he could have just put him on the bench and not played him. So, yeah,
Pops
that's the thing. Yeah, he's making a statement as well. If he's leaving him out of the squad, if he's genuinely just has the runs, fine, he's out of the squad.
He has the runs.
Big
You
up,
talking about
Puff.
Nunez? I just got back.
No, like Marian's dog, Marian's dog.
Oh, no, I think Marion's dog. I think the dog watched the game today. I can understand it. I feel for it.
Or maybe it's the dog ran away or something.
No, he got the runs. He got the runs. If he watched the game, he probably would have tried to run away too. But yeah. No, all due seriousness. So we hope that her dog feels better.
There's no bad food in Liverpool, Pops. Stop that now. There's no bad food in Liverpool. That's just hysterical.
Yeah, wish her well. The dog,
And
yeah.
also, I was going to say, Yeah, it's a win. Just as Pops was saying earlier, it's a win. So a win's a win. We move on. You know, how we got it isn't exactly the way we wanted to get it, but we got it all the same. I know that the captain rescued 3 points for us today. We all know I was super reading into it, maybe possibly too much, maybe even so, but I was happy when I saw him kiss the badge, you know, that kind of deal. We all know that he loves this team. He loves the city, loves the fans, and you know, it's great that he could look past getting yelled at by his teammates or a teammate and still have the measure and focus to get what we needed done, which is get those 3 points. Looking at a table right now that has us obviously on top of it, but looking at a table that has Arsenal having played the same amount of games now, 13 points in our rearview mirror. Forest, 57 points, 56 points. As I spoke on, Chelsea really dropped the bag today. Chelsea's fighting to try to get into Europe. There's really no other way that they're going to accomplish that, really, other than getting into Europa, which is the only stage that they would advance or qualify for by winning the Conference League. But yeah, 56 points. It's going to be a very, I think Newcastle can easily push out and hold on to once they get that game in hand, they could push out and solidify themselves either for a third, if not fourth place finish this season. I don't know if it would be a shout maybe for them to get second place, but that's Arsenal really just, you know, not caring about Premier League anymore. And we have Villa, 54 points now with tied with Chelsea. Villa's my team that I picked to make the top four when it was originally just going to be top four. They still have a very arguable chance. It's a interesting little traffic jam going on from seventh to all the way up to third place, basically in the league. Shows a lot of parity. Shows despite people saying what they want to say about this league, I still think that it's been a competitive league. And I also think that obviously from the coefficient that we've gained, by doing well in Europe and getting the fifth place that's going to be awarded to us, awarded to the Premier League for next year, it shows that we've done well outside of the league as well. So I really like the fact that this league is definitely has some interesting headlines or little stories that will be figured out and still worked on as we prepare towards the line. And yeah, and I honestly think that it's going to be a good one. Number 20 in our focus, right? That's how you look at it. Pops is not happy with the rear view mirror. Just continue to look forward. Don't look in the past. I get what you're saying. Pops. It's kind of funny. It's just fun sometimes to look in the rearview mirror and see the cars kind of losing their wheels wobbling a little bit. Some could say our wheels are wobbling a little bit, but still, it's fun to watch them too. Anyways, people, we are going to be. You got a little bit extra time. We're about 2 hours 10 minutes at the spot. So we're going to let the panel say their due and say what they'd like to say as we push off. So I'll start with JK. What would you like to say to the people and before we allow for them to enjoy the spoils of the win?
Nice one for everyone in the chat. Press the like button if you can. We'll catch you in the week. We'll be doing shows all week, so we'll catch you then.
Yes. Trust me, Pops. I definitely know Gary Neville's comments about Manchester United, about Liverpool not making even the top 4, much less finishing behind Manchester United. His comments about Manchester United having a better midfield than us.
Arsenal with the league. This is Arsenal's title this season.
Yep. Yep. That's what the comments were. So trust, I do remember that. Yeah. He's let's just look at it this way. Gary's lucky that he has 10 fingers and 10 toes, so therefore he can count how many titles we have now too. So how about that? So because
just don't do a Paul Scholes on it. Whatever.
Oh, yuck. Yeah. Oh, that is just weird. Yeah. Overrated Paul Scholes. Overrated. Anyway, sorry.
Right.
Brian, do you have something you'd like to say to people?
Gamble responsibly, unlike Weston McKennie. That's all I would say. Naughty boys.
I heard that story.
Yes.
Naughty boys.
Yes.
I'll have to look up that story. Hopefully it's not a bad one.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a good one.
I'm sure it's not if you just mentioned it like that. Well, yeah, I just saw
A little bit of an Italian betting scandal again. Not just him.
They don't learn in that.
Oh, wow. There are 12 other players involved in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
These players don't learn in it.
No, exactly. They don't learn. They do not learn.
It's a weird thing. I don't know what's going on in Italy. That's I won't say it's commonplace, but it does tend to find itself somewhat.
I just think it's so.
In some of the landing marks.
Yeah, the thing about Italy is, without wanting to be stereotypical, is because they have so many problems. Their laws don't fuck around, basically. You kind of you hear about corruption, blah blah blah, but when they go anti-corruption, they go full anti-corruption. They really investigate things like Juve and all that stuff. So yeah, it isn't an Italian thing. It isn't. It's just a footballer. It's a people thing. But yeah, people with a lot of money, a lot of spare time on their hands, they're going to gamble. Some of them.
Yeah.
That's just inevitable.
Yeah.
But don't do silly stuff. Gamble on freaking greyhounds or something. I don't know. Don't be gambling on your own team.
Gamble. I don't think you can gamble normally, really, period, sometimes. It just, if you're gambling on that, you're going to end up getting well, I gamble on this. Well, why not? Why not take a gamble on something that I have a little bit more expertise on? That's why it's too close to the temptation. But I'll read up more about this. I see that this was just announced, this article in the Reuters. But hey, Milante, what do you got to say?
No, I'm not going to mention betting scandal and tolls and toll. You know what? Yuck. Yeah. Message to Mr. Slot, if you can, get your personal mobile phone number, one dial, get Stevie G in, get him as a coach, let him get a winner's medal, let him get a Premier League medal of some sort. Deserves it. There you go. Oh, better yet, Mr. Slot, if you could,
him in the midfield.
Play from now to the end of the season. You can get his football boots on. That's all right. No problem. We'll take that, man. Let him get his deserved medal. But look,
you want to bring on favorites? Bring on that favorite.
Yeah. What I will say is I'm waiting, and I'm patiently waiting to rattle the Arsenal fans. I am patiently waiting. I want don't do any scoring. Don't worry about that. That's fine. But just get those 3 more assists. Just get the 3 more assists and break.
He had 17 going into this game. Now he's at 18.
18. Well, no, to break the assist record.
Oh, to break the
21.
assist record. I got
record. Yeah.
I just meant for the 2020.
Oh yeah. I'll forget about
Like
2020. Yeah, he's past that. Yeah. But let him just get the 3 more assists, and oh my days, I'm gonna and then he'll be the GOAT. He will be the GOAT, and I'm gonna wind up these Arsenal fans. I'm gonna really unwind him. The Goonalees, all these people. Oh, they're gonna get unwinded. Mo Salah better than Thierry. Oh, I'm gonna wind them up. But anyway, big up the chat. Yeah, and yeah, we move. 2 more games, and all of us will be discussing about booking tickets at the end of the May for the weekend at the party. There you go. Blessings.
There you go. That's why we watch the games. Is for the enjoyment, for the pain, somewhat, but also more so for the enjoyment. And 3 breaks it, right? That's all we need is 3 points. Or excuse me, 3 games left. And I think we might even get it before that. Who knows? There will be other points that Arsenal certainly drop. I know people don't want to look at the rearview mirror, but all the same. But I'm looking more so forward to let's get over that 90 hump. That's all I want to see us do, and go out in style. So big up to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us today. We'll have a ratings and review show tomorrow. You can watch this game back if you like. I will as a punishment, but yeah, let's get number 20, as Pops is saying. Number 20. Let's get 20. Get number 20 for us. Let's see Salah get 20 for him. 21 for him. And yeah, we move, people. All the best out there. Keep your heads up, definitely, because you always know that you have Reds that walk beside you. So until then, till tomorrow, up the Reds, my people, up the Reds, and we'll see you soon. Take care.